Welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Monday, February 2nd, 2026.
Right.
And today, we are looking at a set of numbers that, well, frankly, they just don't add up. They shouldn't exist in the same reality.
It's a total paradox.
Because if you look at one side of the ledger, the search volume data from 2025,
Yeah.
the internet is absolutely booming.
Right. Record highs.
Google was processing somewhere between, 9 and 13 billion searches every single day.
By that metric, you'd think we're in a golden age of information.
Exactly. But then you flip the page to the publisher side.
Yeah.
The people actually writing the articles, making the videos.
And it looks like a crime scene, a ghost town.
Traffic isn't just down. For a huge part of the web, it's collapsed. So everyone is searching, but nobody is clicking. We're calling this deep dive the Great Decoupling. And to figure out what's going on, we've got this stack of reports from the Digital Bloom, Galaxy, Toloka AI.
And some heavy strategy guides, too. Roketo and AEO engine.
Yeah. And together they paint a picture that is, it's pretty alarming.
It's more than just an algorithm change. We're witnessing the end of what you could call the transactional internet.
Okay, let's define that before we get into the scary stats.
Yeah.
When you say the transactional internet, what deal are we talking about?
The old deal was simple. It was, symbiotic. I, the creator, I do the work to answer a question.
Okay.
You, the search engine, you index my work, you show it to a user, they click on it, I get the traffic, and I monetize that traffic.
Right, so everyone wins. Google gets the user gets the answer, the site gets the traffic.
That was the loop. But the organic traffic paradox of 2025, which is the core of that Digital Bloom report, is that the loop is broken. The transaction is over.
And the scale of this, it's what really jumped out at me. I knew traffic was down, but the report says that as of late 2025, 60% of all Google searches are zero click.
60%, and that's the average.
The average.
On mobile, it's even higher. We're talking up to 77%.
Wow. So nearly 8 out of 10 times someone pulls out their phone to find something. They never actually visit a website.
They get the answer right there and put the phone away.
And I assume we're pointing the finger directly at AI overviews for this, AIOs.
That's the accelerant, absolutely. AIOs are showing up on, 13 to 20% of queries, but they dominate the informational ones, the who, what, how questions.
So what does that do to the click-through rate?
It's brutal. The report says when an AI overview appears, the click-through rate to the actual articles drops by almost half, 47%.
But hold on, I remember the big argument from the tech companies was that these overviews would have citations, those little links.
That was the sales pitch.
Yeah, the idea was people would read the summary and then click to learn more or check the source.
And in reality, nobody does. Or almost nobody. The data shows only 1% of users actually click those citations inside the box.
1%.
1%. It's basically a wall. The user gets a little blurb, they feel like they got the answer, and they move on. The search engine is now the destination, not the pathway.
So let's talk about who's paying the price.
Yeah.
Because the reports highlighted some huge companies. Companies I thought were untouchable in SEO. We had to talk about HubSpot.
Oh, HubSpot is the poster child for this whole crisis. For a decade, they were the absolute kings of inbound marketing.
They practically invented the term.
They wrote the playbook, but between 2024 and 2025, they lost. It was somewhere between 70 and 80% of their organic traffic.
They went from 13.5 million monthly visits down to about 6 million. That's catastrophic for a public company.
Yeah.
Why them, though? Their content is good.
It's high-quality generic content, and that's the key distinction now. HubSpot ranked for thousands of, top-of-funnel terms.
Like what?
Think about things like resignation letter template or famous sales quotes.
Right, useful stuff, but it's commodity information. You don't need a deep, nuanced take on a resignation letter.
Exactly. If an AI can summarize your entire article in 3 bullet points without losing any real value, your business model is now obsolete. Why would anyone click through?
So the middleman of information, the website that just collects facts, is being cut out.
Completely. And it's not just marketing sites. News sites are bleeding. CNN was down around 30%. The Sun in the UK, almost 60%.
Okay, so that explains why humans aren't clicking. The AI is giving them the answer. But there's another layer here that I found even more disturbing. If human traffic is collapsing, what is filling up all the internet pipes? Because bandwidth usage is still going up.
And this brings us to that Galaxy report from September 2025. This is where we have to talk about the dead internet theory.
Which, I'll admit, I always thought was a fringe conspiracy theory. The idea that most of the internet's fake.
It used to be fringe, but the Galaxy data suggests it's now, well, a statistical reality. They found that 51% of global internet traffic is now generated by bots.
So for the first time ever, the majority of activity online isn't people.
It's machines talking to other machines.
And on some platforms, it's much worse.
Oh, way worse. On X, formerly Twitter, they found up to 76% of traffic during peak times is just automation.
That's a really strange thought. You're posting, you're arguing in a comment section thinking you're in a public square.
And statistically, you're just shouting into a server farm. It's a closed loop of digital hallucination. Bots talking to bots, creating engagement that other bots then measure.
So why can't we just fix it? Block the bots?
Because the problem is baked into the internet's foundations. The protocols we use, HTTP, TCP/IP, they were designed 50 years ago. They're stateless.
What does stateless mean in this context?
It means the protocol has no memory, it doesn't know who you are, it just sees a request for data, and it delivers it. It can't tell the difference between a person in Ohio who's genuinely curious and a script in a data center faking a billion clicks.
So we built a system on trust, and now it's flooded with actors we can't even identify.
We can't tell them apart anymore. That UC San Diego study from March 2025, the modern Turing test, they found GPT 4.5 passed as human 73% of the time.
Okay, that's impressive for the AI, but how did the actual humans do?
That's the kipper. The humans passed as human less often than the AI did.
Wait, what? So in a blind test, people thought the robot was more human than the actual person?
Yep. Because the AI is polite, it's consistent, it uses perfect grammar. Real humans are messy, we're rude, we make typos. We've hit a point where humanity is actually harder to spot than synthetic perfection.
That is profoundly unsettling, and it leads directly into the most existential part of this whole thing.
Model collapse?
Yeah. The serpent eating its tail. We've got a web full of bot-created content. What happens when the new AIs start learning from that?
The Toloka AI and ArcSIF papers cover this, and your photocopier analogy from our prep session is perfect here.
Walk us through it.
Okay, so imagine you have a really sharp, high-resolution photograph. That's the original human-created internet.
Pre-2023.
Right. Now you make a photocopy of it. It looks pretty good. But then you take that copy and you photocopy it, and you do that 100 times. What do you get at the end?
Just noise.
Yeah.
A blurry, high-contrast mess.
Exactly. The new models are training on the output of the old models. They're photocopying a photocopy.
And the research shows this causes them to lose the tails of the distribution curve.
Right. The weird stuff, the nuance, the edge cases, the specific human knowledge that lives out on the fringes. When the models train on themselves, they just converge toward the center. They get better and better at being average.
This is the streetlight effect they mentioned in the paper.
Y'all joke, yeah. The drunk looking for his keys under the streetlight, not because he lost them there, but because that's where the light is. AI looks for the easy, probable answers. It ignores the darkness where the really valuable knowledge is hiding.
So the internet gets bigger, but it actually gets dumber.
Yeah.
More homogeneous.
Yes. And the real tragedy is, while we're flooding the future with this synthetic sludge, we are actively losing our past.
That evolution report on digital decay.
It was just heartbreaking.
That 40% stat.
40% of all web pages from a decade ago are just gone. 404 errors, servers shut down, there's no funding for archiving, traffic is drying up, so publishers are just deleting their archives.
So we're losing the history of weird ideas just as we're making the future more generic.
It feels like we're burning the library to heat the server room.
That's a grim way to put it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pivot. We've painted a bleak picture here.
We have.
But the economy's still running. People are still buying things. The guides from Rocketo and AEO Engine claim there is a way to survive this.
There is, but it's a total mindset shift. If you're running a business online, you have to stop thinking about SEO, search engine optimization,
And start thinking about AEO.
answer engine optimization.
Is that just a buzzword or is it actually different?
It's fundamentally different. SEO was about ranking blue links. You use keywords and backlinks to climb a list. AEO is about entity clarity.
Entity clarity. Break that down.
The AI doesn't see a list of pages. It's building a mental model of the world. It needs to know exactly who you are. If it's confused about your brand or your authority, it will not cite you. It's too risky for it to hallucinate, so it defaults to the biggest, safest brands it knows.
So how do you prove you're a real trusted entity to a machine?
The guides use this new acronym, H.E.E.A.T.
which is an update on the old Google E.E.A.T.
Right. Helpfulness, experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. But that extra E for experience, that's the only weapon you have left.
Because it's the one thing an AI cannot have.
Correct. An AI cannot test drive a new car. It can't feel the frustration of stripping a screw. It can only synthesize what other people have written about those things.
So the strategy is to lean into the messy, physical reality of being human.
And use video. The reports stress that first-person narratives, especially on video, are the hardest things for an AI to fake convincingly. Don't write another 10 sales tips article. Film a veteran salesperson telling a war story about a deal they lost. Show the failure.
And that connects to the zero-click strategy in the Rochetto Guide. This idea that you have to optimize for the people who don't click.
It sounds so counterintuitive, right? Why would I optimize for no traffic?
Yeah.
But if 60% of searches end right there in the AI summary, you have to make sure your brand is the source of that summary. You want the user to see according to your brand.
You're playing for brand recall, not the click, so they remember you next time.
Exactly.
Are there any winners in this? I mean, who is actually thriving?
There are a few. People.com was up 27%. Men's Journal shot up 415%.
400%. Why?
They went hard into visual-heavy lifestyle content, workout videos, photo galleries of the 10 best mountain cabins.
Stuff you can't just summarize in a text blurb.
You have to see it. They made their content unsummarizable.
And then there's Substack, up 40%.
Which represents the flight to authenticity. As the open web fills with AI sludge, people are retreating into gated communities, newsletters, discords. They want to know, with 100% certainty, that a human being wrote this.
Which brings us to the final section. The impact on us, the users. The Archaeology paper talks about knowledge collapse.
This is the part that worries me the most, honestly. We have these incredible tools that give us instant answers.
But the paper argues this convenience is making us collectively dumber.
They actually measured the distance from the truth. They found that when we just settle for that quick, discounted AI summary,
instead of doing the work of clicking.
Right. Our collective public knowledge actually moves 2.3 times further away from the actual truth.
2.3 times. How?
Because the summary averages out the nuance. It gives you the most likely answer, not necessarily the most complete or correct one. We start to accept the average as the truth.
So being a responsible citizen of the internet in 2026 means being a skeptic.
You have to become a strategic information seeker. You can't just consume. You have to actively go looking for unmediated text. You have to be the one to verify the machine.
It's like we have to become the curators of the weird stuff.
We are the guardians of the edge cases. That's a perfect way to put it.
So let's try to wrap this all up. The golden age of easy traffic, of just writing a blog post and watching visitors roll in.
That's dead.
Buried. That world is over.
The internet is now majority bots. The AI is feeding on itself, creating this loop of generic noise.
Gray goo of information.
But the escape hatch for creators and for readers is just humanity.
Authority and authenticity. If you're creating generic content, you're just feeding the serpent. You're part of the problem. If you create unique experience-based human content, you're the signal in the noise.
I want to leave our listener with this thought. It's from the Galaxy Report. If 99% of the internet becomes AI talking to AI, just infinite, free, synthetic content, what happens to the value of something that is actually human?
It's basic economics, right?
Yeah.
When something is abundant, its value goes to zero. Text is now abundant. But when something becomes scarce, its value skyrockets. Human-generated is the new scarcity.
So are we heading toward a world where the human web is a premium luxury product, like organic food or a handmade watch? I think we're already there. You use the free AI for the basics, but you'll pay a premium to read a real person's unfiltered thoughts, or to speak to a customer service agent with a heartbeat. The future of luxury might just be other people.
Something to chew on the next time you get an answer without clicking. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.